Exactly. It's not.
Ready, folks? There you go. This time I'll call to order the September 23, 24 meeting of the City of Clearwater Downtown Development Board. I'd like to introduce our board members here today. Jennifer Frazier is here.
Thank you.
Councilmember Ryan Cotton is here.
Good evening.
Councilmember Lena Tuxera is here.
Good evening.
And to my left, Councilmember Mike Menino is here.
Good evening.
With that, we'll move to item 2.1 on the agenda. Approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the August 12, 2024 Downtown Development Board meeting?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. It's time to move to item 3 on the agenda, citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. Is there anyone here today from the public desiring to be heard on an item that's not on today's agenda? Seeing none, move to item 4.1 on the agenda.
Good afternoon, board members. Jesus Nino, CRA Executive Director for the record. Before I move on to the particular items in front of you, I do want to apologize to the board here and to the public. Originally, this public meeting was scheduled for September the 17th, along with the city's scheduled meeting for their trim notice. That was a staff error, but we did correct it. We did verify with the state that we're within legal boundaries, so that's why we're here today. But I did want to apologize to all of you and the public. Any questions on that? Otherwise, I'll move on. Thank you. This item before you is item 4.1, which is staff requesting approval for an interlocal agreement between the Community Redevelopment Agency and the Downtown Development Board. This is to approve the annual interlocal agreement that is an amount of $87,309. This agreement allows the CRA staff to do the work for the DDB, which is personnel, administrative, and management services for the DDB. With that, staff is recommending approval.
Yeah. So anyone here from the public desiring to speak to agenda item 4.1? Seeing, hearing none, is there any board discussion? If there's none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 4.1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.2.
This next item is to approve the July financial statements and to file them. Basically, the funds that were spent in the month of July totaled $7,256.75, with the ending balance of $713,958.17. With that, staff is recommending approval, unless you have questions.
Anyone here from the public desiring to speak to agenda item 4.2? Hearing and seeing none, is there any board discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 4.2.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.3.
4.3 is staff recommending approval for the August financial statements and for filing. Funds spent in the month of August totaled $7,189.72, with an ending balance of $706,768.45. With that, staff is recommending approval.
Is anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 4.3? Hearing and seeing none, is there any board discussion? If there's none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve item 4.3.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.4.
Thank you. Item 4.4, this is the reason why we're really here tonight, is to set the final millage rate of 0.9700 mills for fiscal year 24-25, and also to adopt resolution 24-04 on second reading. This item was brought to you at first reading at the last DDB meeting. With that, staff is requesting approval and open for questions. And we also have our attorney here to read the resolution.
Okay. Before we do that, is anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 4.4? Seeing none, could we get a reading?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A resolution of the Clearwater Downtown Development Board of the City of Clearwater, Florida, declaring the millage rate to be levied for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025, for operating purposes, providing an effective date of this resolution.
Is there any board discussion? If there's none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 4.4.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.5.
This next item before you is to approve the DDB annual operating budget for fiscal year 24-25, and also to adopt Resolution 24-05 on second reading. This item also came before you at a first reading. The staff is recommending approval.
Is anyone here from the public desiring to speak to agenda item 4.5? If there's none, is there any, can we get a reading?
Thank you. A resolution of the Clearwater Downtown Development Board of the City of Clearwater, Florida, declaring the final budget to be adopted for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025, for operating purposes, providing an effective date of this resolution.
Is there any board discussion regarding agenda item 4.5? If there's none, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 4.5.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.6.
4.6 is to, staff is recommending approval of amendments to the 23 all the way to 2025 Downtown Development Board Work Plan, which will include performance measures for FY 24 to 25. Just to make it clear to you and to the public, on April 26, 2024, the legislature did make amendments to Chapter 189 of the Florida statutes, basically adding 189.0694. This basically established that all special districts, which is the DDB is a special district, to establish goals and objectives for their programs and activities that they undertake in their districts by October 1st, 2024. The statute also requires that all special districts to create performance measures and standards to determine if those performance measures are being met. So DDBs or DDAs around the state and other special districts are undertaking these particular actions to implement. It is recommended by, this is the CRA, Florida Redevelopment Association attorney, to start off soft, basically, so you can make sure you meet those goals and from there build. But we did have our attorney here who actually helped us draft our first year performance measures and standards. With that, staff is recommending approval, and we're here to answer any questions.
Is anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 4.6? Seeing none, is there any board discussion? If there's none, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve agenda item 4.6.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.7.
This last item, or before the last item, 4.7, this is a special event funding request from the Florida Orchestra, or TFO, which is a not-for-profit organization that is now in their 57th season. TFO is tentatively scheduled for the event scheduled for Sunday, November 10th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at the Sound. The proposed event will offer free concert and social activities for attendees of all ages. The estimated cost for this event is $122,844. The applicant is requesting $80,000 from DDB, and they will contribute $42,844. But after reviewing our policy that was basically put in place by this DDB board here, staff is recommending an amount not to exceed $50,000. But as that policy states, as the board, you have the authority to request, to basically approve the request or not. But with that, staff is recommending $50,000. In addition, the applicant, Mr. Ignacio, is here in the audience to answer any questions if you may have them. With that, staff is recommending $50,000.
Is anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 4.7? If not, Mr. Ignacio, have you come forward and just give us a few remarks?
Good afternoon, members of the Downtown Development Board. Good to see you here. Thank you for the introduction and for the opportunity to present in more depth the event that we're planning to present November 10th. There were a few slides maybe we can display very quickly here. The details have been already shared. This is a concert that we really want to open for the whole community. We think that by doing this, this is an investment for the relationship going forward with the orchestra and the city of Clearwater, but also we really want to help the downtown to activate downtown and all the businesses around. We believe we can bring over 8,000 people. We have a marketing plan to really share the word with social media and press and other channels. And I can tell you that in previous years, the orchestra has performed at Cosmo Park, and many patrons will relate to that, and they will be happy to see that the orchestra is now, ready to perform at the Sound, which we are really looking forward. The concert will be conducted by Chelsea Gallo, which is a rock star. She's been an artist all over the world. She's a Brazilian conductor, and we have a very diverse programming for families, for everybody, from John Williams to Leonard Bernstein. Really fun, friendly programming for everybody. As it was explained before, the project cost is about $122,000. We requested $80,000 initially. I know the recommendation is $50,000. The orchestra is willing to make the effort with the funding that has been recommended and go forward with the concert. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have at this point.
Okay. Questions or discussion from the board? Councilmember Teixeira?
I actually wish Councilmember Albritton was here because he would say, we've been talking about this for years. But we have, and I remember all the conversations when we were talking about Cochin Park and amphitheater. Florida Orchestra was part of that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
It was discussed that free concerts for the community would occur. So I'm glad that it took a long while, but we're discussing it. But if my memory served me correctly, I think it was discussed that even rehearsals would be an opportunity for the orchestra to actually do, rather than a very, formal concert, but actually rehearse as an added feature. But I'm not quite sure if that conversation continued. But this has been part of the narrative, the orchestra, so I'm glad that it's actually, continuing that discussion. I also like the fact that it's on a Sunday, which means that anybody that you bring would not be here initially. Sunday is one of the slowest days for downtown, and it would be giving the downtown and the business owners an added day for revenue. So I like the idea that it's on a Sunday. And I would like to use this as an indicator for future planning. I want to see how successful this could be.
Okay. Other board members?
Is that it?
Mhm.
Thank you for being here today. Quick question, and I know $122,000 for the event is a big price tag, but I think a lot of that is based on your estimate attendance, probably. We've seen some great headliners roll through the first year of this amphitheater, and most of them haven't touched 8,500 participants, but spectators. So I'm just wondering, how are you getting to that figure of, I know we're hopeful of 8,500, but do you feel that that's realistic?
Yeah, thank you for the question, for the comment. We know the maximum capacity at the Sound is 8,500. This is a free concert.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope that everybody that maybe in the past had a doubt about, should I join or not, we know the cost of living and pricing is really going up, and it's a barrier for many families to attend performances. We think that's going to be a motivating factor for people to come. The fact that you mentioned it's on a Sunday, it's on a weekend, hopefully that helps also for families. For estimations, I don't know if you could see this is small, but this is the budget showing the bottom line. Really, the way we estimate it, there is no attendance revenue or anything like that. This is purely expenses at this point. So really, what you see there on the budget is what it takes for the orchestra to be there. We will have more than 70 musicians along with the conductor and all the backstage personnel, operations personnel, and equipment needed to make that possible. Of course, we are willing to work with the city of Clearwater to understand any specifics related to security, safety, police, and so on, to make sure that we have a successful day. And I do agree this is an opportunity to really start a number of concerts in the future. I really want to see the orchestra performing outdoor, and this could become the official outdoor venue of the Florida Orchestra if we make it right.
Yeah. And just a discussion for the board, I think, we've talked about events coming through the DDB for a while now, and we talked about trying to find some sort of consistency in how we're supporting them and how we're funding them as a board and as a city. I think we're kind of finding ourselves identifying those boxes that certain events check, and I think being a free event checks an important box for us to fund. Being a downtown event that isn't there to provide food and beverage was multiple pluses for us, because that allows those patrons to hopefully visit our downtown restaurants and bars. Hopefully you have a relationship and can work something out to engage the patrons with that. And I think the other thing was, this isn't a first-time standalone event where we're unsure of the execution and the relation. So I'm supportive of it. At what financial component, probably at staff's recommendation, but interested to have a deeper discussion with you. But I do recognize that you are checking some very important boxes for us as a board in our consistency on what we do fund and support for down there.
Thank you.
Others? Councilmember Cotton?
Yeah, I look forward to the event as well, just as my colleagues have pointed out. I think that it being free is going to be huge, especially as you noted, families are struggling right now. So to be able to provide that to them and for them to get out of the house, come and enjoy our park, and enjoy what the orchestra has to provide, I think will be huge for them. So that's also why I'm in support of it this go-around. We'll see. I really hope you get 8,500 people there. That'll be huge for multiple reasons, but I think that would be great. So I'm definitely in support of this, and we'll see where it goes. So.
Thank you.
I think the stars are aligned. November is cooler, Sunday afternoon, as early on in the season, so you're not competing with Christmas events. I like the diversity of it, right? We're having some Latin events, we're having some dog events, and so this would be a great addition to diversify the exposure of downtown. So I'm also in support of the staff recommendation amount.
We realized that the staff recommendation amount would essentially only cover the rental of the venue. So, because it's looking like it's over 5,100 just for the venue. So, it's a large cost that we appreciate you being willing to take on to do this, whatever amount that you're funded. Do you think that your marketing expenses are adequate to bring in that many?
We've been having some conversations around this. We took the reference points from other park concerts we have done in Tampa Bay, the cities of St. Petersburg and Tampa. We're more than happy to review them and see what would be more adjustable or appropriate for the city of Clearwater. We think this is reasonable to really spread the word and have a successful attendance. Also, I want to point out that November is a good month for the orchestra in general because of the snowbirds we have coming to the area. That really helps for attendance. But I'm more than willing to review the expenses that we have. We do have strong presence all over Tampa Bay, but maybe for this particular event, we can really focus on attendance or driving areas around the Clearwater area.
I think it's wonderful. I'm definitely in support.
Well, agree with everything that's been said. The only thing I would add is it's Veterans Day weekend. Veterans Day is the following day. We're having an event in the park on Saturday honoring veterans. For me, if we could wrap it around a weekend Clearwater Veterans Day celebration, involve some veterans on stage during the event, even message it as a gift to Tampa Bay veterans, to not just Clearwater, but Pinellas County veterans. There are 100,000 of them here in Pinellas County alone. So for me, the timing being Veterans Day weekend, it's for me, incorporating veterans in the event and making it patriotic in some way. It didn't have to be the 4th of July type thing. Programming, music can still say the same. But some way to incorporate and involve veterans, I think, would attract more people to the event. And then the other thing is, you and I talked even today about incorporating arts education into the community more, and pulling in the Pinellas County public schools and the private schools, for that matter, to have it also be a community celebration of the arts and the importance of the arts to our community. So I think those two things, if there's some special messaging for the timing of this one, even if it doesn't change the program, but there's some recognition of veterans groups and school groups maybe incorporated into it, that would bring out the draw. If we can bring out 8,000 people, believe me, that's well worth the 50,000 and probably more. I think probably I'm for staying with staff's recommendation because we just don't know what could happen between now and then on the weather and other things that could happen to affect attendance. But first time through, and I think if we can do those other things messaging wise and really generate big turnout, that's a big win for Clearwater. So I'm a yes for the staff recommendations. So,
I am too.
any other discussion?
No, I think those are great points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 4.7 with an amount not to exceed $50,000 as staff recommended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll move to item 5, Director's Report.
Thank you. I don't have too much for the director's report, but I do want to recognize that we do have the Parks and Recreation Director here in the audience, Mr. Hart. So I do want to let the board know that we're collaborating, the DDB and CRA staff with Parks and Recreation to integrate our special events and their events process better together. So as far as whenever we're intaking applications, we want to make sure that they've gone through their process. In addition, I do want to say that we do have an expert that has provided me a lot of great ideas, and Board Member Menino, so he's provided a lot of recommendations as far as other communities that he's worked with in his professional life. So those have been very valuable for me. So we're hoping that in the next few months, when there's a meeting, that Art and myself will come up here and present what our DDB process is internally. We do have a policy, but as far as we're intaking them, how we're reviewing them, how we're collaborating with Parks and Rec. So we'll bring that to you at a future date, but I'm open for questions on that if you have any right now, and Mr. Art's also here as well. Any questions on that particular item?
No, just a comment.
Okay?
Kudos to you for having interdepartment collaboration. I think that is awesome, and only good things can result from that. And I would like to thank both of you for doing it. Thank you.
Yeah, also add to it, I appreciate this process and collaboration as well. I think it's going to streamline things, make things a bit easier for all. I think sometimes we see groups come in and they present and have an ask, and they don't know what this number is that they may eventually get, and we're on separate pages. So I think that's great. I thank you for the kind word. I would say the word expert might be debatable with some in this room, but I do appreciate the kind word. But I think it's a great idea, and thank you.
With that, staff just want to remind you that there is no DDB meeting in the month of October. In addition, that's it. So with that, staff is hoping you have a wonderful night, and we're here if you have any additional comments.
Very good. Any other questions for the director? No? Hearing none, move to item 6, board members to be heard. Anyone want to share anything? No?
Show and tell, anybody?
Not today.
Just leaving it for you.
This expert is done.
Oh.
Well, I'll just, it's a lot of things working, and, success of some of our businesses downtown Clearwater, particularly on Cleveland Street, have been encouraging. That we're getting some traction, a lot more work to do, of course, and but we're talking tonight about an event to continue to push forward and attract more events downtown, which hopefully will keep it going. So I know from a public's perspective, it doesn't always look like things are happening, but I can tell you there's a lot of feet going on underneath the water, encouraging folks and trying to make good things happen for Clearwater. So I appreciate this board's continued support for downtown, and look forward to continue to work hard and continue to eventually produce results for the city. So With that, if there's no other business to come before the board, we will adjourn the meeting of September 23, 2024.